Okay, so this is my beginner meditation guide, and it is hopefully to help us to calm our minds and to heal our thoughts, I suppose. And I am someone who is in extreme physical pain all of the time, so I hope that I am in a good position to make these teachings. So, firstly, we need to understand what makes meditation so important. And I think that a lot of people get the impression of meditation being like a spiritual thing where you sit cross-legged on the floor. And that isn't essentially what it is. So I'd like to just discuss that first of all. Now, you know that you talk to yourself in your head, and we all talk to ourselves in our heads basically all of the time. And that is essentially very exhausting. And we've got all of our thoughts going round in our head all of the time. And even when we come home, we're still going round with it and talking to ourselves, right? That's keeping all of our stresses going, and that isn't real silence. That isn't real relaxation. Real silence is to stop thinking. And the necessity for this becomes more apparent when you're someone who suffers more when you're in pain a lot and all of the time. I think that we're used to just trundling along through our daily lives and not thinking about it. When you're in more pain and stuff like that, it becomes more apparent that this is necessary. Our stresses are building up in our heads all the time, and we're carrying them around with us and going over them because we're still talking to ourselves in our head. Imagine if you went and you had a really stressful exam or something like that, and you came home from that exam, and in order to gauge how well you did on that exam, I asked you more exam questions. Imagine if that's how I wanted to find out how well you did. You don't want to come home and do that. You want to say, I just need to sit down and have a relax. Maybe you want to talk about it in a relaxed state, but you don't want to be going over the same thing. But that's essentially what we're doing when we're bringing it all back home and talking to ourselves in our head, right? So yes, we're essentially causing ourselves to overflow with all the things that we're thinking about, and we're just used to it because that's what everybody does in everybody's life. You just talk inside your head, but that will become exhausting. Now, what we must know, it's important to know that meditation is also a practice, okay? It's like practicing the piano or lifting weights. When you start out, if this is your first time, if you're starting out, you will be crap at it. Okay, it is going to be crap. It's not something that you can just magically switch on. I mean, a lot of people do go to the gym and want to practice lifting weights and they get better and stronger at lifting those weights. But this is the same thing, but we're doing that with our mind, and it's just as important as doing it with our bodies. Now, if you came to me and you said, my teeth are all falling out. Okay, your teeth are falling out, right? And I would say to you, well, have you been cleaning your teeth, right? And if you said, no, I haven't been cleaning my teeth, well, no wonder your teeth are falling out, right? But the thing is, you probably clean your teeth every day, right? Because you think, I need to look after my teeth, I'm going to clean my teeth every day. That's what you do. But you wouldn't think that you got to clean your mind sort of thing. But our mind is more important than our teeth. I think you'd rather have your mind than your teeth, right? So we really got to go through, we really got to get into the mindset, at the very least, the same amount of time that you spend cleaning your teeth, you should be using meditation, i.e. cleaning your mind, if not massively more. In the same way that you wouldn't want a rotten tooth in your mouth, you wouldn't want all of the stresses to build up in your mind. So, bearing in mind that we will need to practice, let's start with getting into position, getting ready for doing a meditation. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to get comfy. Now, a lot of people like to sit down. I personally like to lie down because then I can take all of the weight off my entire body, but that's usually because I'm in a lot of pain. If you sit down, I guess it's easier for you because you can just do it wherever you need to. And when you get really good at it, you can literally do it anywhere. You can literally just have a little mini one on your own. So what we want to do is we want to relax our body and we want to close our eyes and we want to get into a position where we don't need to move out of that position, okay? So essentially what we're going to do is we're going to pack our body away temporarily so that we can focus on our mind, or indeed not focus on it. But I do feel that we tend to be very physically present and aware of our body because we're using our body. And that's what I mean by packing it away. We're kind of putting it to one side as if we didn't have a body sort of thing. We don't need it. I will say, right, so if you think about where is our consciousness, where is our we, where is the you, right? I don't know about you, but it feels like it's between your eyes. You know when you close your eyes and you think, where am I? It feels like the middle of your head is where you are. Do you know what I mean by that, right? You don't feel that you are in your foot. You feel you have a foot, right? You feel that you have a foot, but you don't feel that you're in your foot, do you, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to close our eyes and we're going to move that conscious blob that's between our head. We're going to move that over our body just to prepare for the meditation. We're not doing the meditation yet. We're just getting ready for it. So what you need to do is, so if you close your eyes, you can probably feel a sense of yourself, as it were, in the middle of your head. And what we need to do is move that right down to our foot. Okay? Now, if you're moving your eyes, then you're doing it wrong. You're not looking at your foot. You're not imagining your foot at the bottom of you, right? You're not imagining your foot at the bottom of you and looking at it. That's not how it works. We're basically moving our consciousness down to our foot. Now, I know that sounds strange. This is the problem where once you start getting into meditation, that part in the middle of your head isn't where you really are anyway, is it? It just feels like it is. It feels like there's a pressure there. You kind of want to shift that attention, that inner attention, down to your foot. Okay, so once we've got there, we've got your foot. We're just going to check in with our foot, okay? I want to be clear, we are not evaluating, okay? We're not saying, hello foot, how are you? And foot is saying, well, I'm not having a very good day today because I ache a bit. We're not doing that. That's an evaluation. We're not doing an evaluation. We're merely shifting our consciousness down to our foot. We're tuning in with our foot in the same way that you might tune a radio to a specific channel. We're tuning into our foot channel, I guess. So once you've done that and you're comfortable with that, and you can move on to your next foot. And we're just basically checking that we're relaxed, that we're not got any tension there, and we're ready to begin our meditation in a moment. We're checking over all of our body, okay? So once you've done your foot, move up your leg until you get over your whole body. Now, for me personally, I find that my jaw becomes clenched naturally. So for me personally, when I get to my jaw, I just need to be aware that I'm relaxing that because I'm clenching my teeth together because I'm in pain. And again, also my eyes, I feel that my eyes tend to be screwed shut because I'm in pain. So again, I'm just relaxing that. So I'm just pointing that out to you so that there might be somewhere for you that is uncomfortable. My shoulder also becomes quite stiff, so I tend to move my shoulder, put it into a position where it's not quite as stiff. So just be aware of that for your own personal tensions, I suppose. All right. So once you've gone over your whole body and got it all ready for the meditation, we're ready to begin the meditation proper. Now, sneakily, I just tricked you because that was actually a meditation in itself, okay? So, we're going to move on to the full-on proper meditation now. What we're essentially going to be doing is deep breathing, okay? It's going to be deep breathing combined with the quieting of our thoughts. Now, deep breathing is good for you anyway, regardless of the meditation thing. Most of us going around in our daily lives, you will find we are not deep breathing. We are shallow breathing or chest breathing or something like that. And I want to teach this first, the deep breathing first, because it's going to be the main method through which we're going to be doing the meditation. And you can just do this whenever you want. You can be on the bus and be doing deep breathing. So, what we want to do is we want to breathe in and we want to inflate our tummy. And we want to keep breathing to our maximum air capacity so we can't take any more air into our tummy. Now, obviously, don't go hurting yourself, right? Don't go busting your tummy, breathing it all in there. But you basically want to just breathe in to our tummy's maximum air capacity and then let it all out again in a natural breathing way. So it's not being rushed in, it's not being hastened in, it's just a slow breathing, but much more breathing than we would normally do when we're just going around, right? So we're getting our tummy to inflate as much as it will go. Now, some people like to do breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. A lot of people say that you should do that. Maybe there's a reason why it's better. But for me personally, I find that distracting. So I just do my nose the whole time. I just breathe from my nose the whole time, okay? Now, once you've gotten used to this breathing, this
method, this will be the bellows through which we will do our meditation. This is the engine for our meditation to work, okay? So now that we've gotten that working, if we remember that blob of conscious attention that I talked about earlier, what we want to do is we want to move that blob to where our breathing, as it were, is taking place. So either to our nose or to our tummy. We want to move our blob of conscious attention to our nose or our tummy, right? And we're going to be focusing, therefore, on the breath as it's happening. We're going to hear our breath and feel our breath, but we're not here to evaluate it. So we're not going for the in and the out. It just is, and it just is a happening. Now that we've got the bellows working, we're just here to experience the breath as it's happening, okay? Now, while you're doing this, while you're working on this, your thoughts are going to be coming and bumbling around inside your head. They're going to come on in and say all these things, and they'll be going, oh, I forgot to put the washing on and stuff like that, you know. And they're going to be essentially taking your attention away from what you're doing, from your breathing, right? Now, you must remember that this is perfectly normal and perfectly natural, okay? We're not here to fight this. We're not here to be some kind of spiritual, holy person. Like, everybody has this happening in their head all of the time, okay? But the game that we're playing here is this. So as the thoughts arise, we are saying to them, thank you, thoughts. That's very nice. I appreciate what you're saying. But right now, I'm doing this. I'm doing this meditation thing, this breathing thing. Thank you, I appreciate that, but I'm just over here. And you do that in the same way that if somebody came into your room and you were busy, you'd say, hold on a minute, I'll just finish what I'm doing and I'll be with you, right? It's the same as that because your attention is on something else. But we spend a lot of our time focusing on our thoughts, and we spend a lot of our time putting our thoughts foremost when it might just be that they are just bumbling around and we don't necessarily need to be doing that. So, because of that, the thoughts will of course arise again, and because we're telling them, thank you, that they will even protest, and then you'll probably start talking to yourself in your head about not talking to yourself in your head, you know? But just keep reminding them, thank you very much, yes, jolly good, but I'm just over here, I'm just doing this, and returning to your breathing each time. Now, if you're out of practice of meditation, if you've not done meditation before, or if you're out of practice, you're probably going to get a new thought every second or half a second, okay? And every second you're going to have to keep bringing yourself back to what we've chosen to be doing, which at the moment is the deep breathing. You're going to have to keep bringing yourself back to that, and you will be out of practice. But if you keep on with it, you can begin to allow the thoughts to drive by like cars on the road. Now, when you're sat and you've got cars going by on the road, you're not really paying attention to them. You're not listening to every single car that goes past. And you're especially not evaluating and going, oh, that sounded like a big heavy truck of a car. You know, you're not doing it. But we do that of our thoughts. So we're putting our thoughts into a position of non-evaluation. And this is actually how I got over my panic attacks, because the panic thought would arise and I would say, thank you for that information, but I'm just over here doing this. And I'll probably do a more advanced meditation video at some point where we talk about more advanced techniques like how to deal with things like that. So I guess look out for that. But what we want to be doing is we just want to keep returning to our breathing. And eventually what will happen is that blob of conscious attention will actually dissolve. And you'll stop being in a position of, I am breathing, and allow it to become, there exists breathing. Okay? If you understand what I mean there. Okay? Now, we don't want to be pushing the thoughts away, because it doesn't work like that. And the more we push them away, the more they'll come back and swamp us and get stuck to us. It's kind of like trying to push treacle away with your hands, because it's going to get stuck to your hands and then you've just got a mess everywhere, right? The trick is to let them be, because it might sound like we're trying to move them out of our way so that we can do something else. And that isn't necessarily true either, because it is natural to have these thoughts arising. It's to do with just letting them get on and be there in the same way that there's cars going by on the road, right? So, likewise, don't try to meditate and don't try to not try to meditate, right? Because that's chasing a goal and that's using evaluation. That's trying to make us into a state. And honestly, the way that we're brought up in our life and our society is to constantly be chasing a goal and constantly be chasing an evaluation. And that is not, that's not how our bodies work. That's not how the world works, really. It's just how we've been, that's just been pasted on top of us by society. And that is really how we're getting ourselves twisted up with all of these problems right now. Okay, just breathe. Yeah, that's what we're doing. And accept that all things are impermanent as well. You will wander, your mind will wander, and you simply need to just bring it back. There's no trouble with your mind wandering, and don't consider it to be tension, all right? It's not a contest. This game that we're doing is not a contest. It's just the natural order of things, because that's what impermanence is. And because it's the natural order of things, you can position yourself as your breath. You're basically handing your breath over to your body's natural order, and you're freeing yourself of the need to even have thought in that situation. And eventually, you will get a feeling, and that feeling is that everything drops away, and you will be completely free of thought, and there'll be no evaluation, and there'll just be breath, and that breath will stop being labeled. It won't even be an in or an out. It will stop being the scientific awareness of what we think breath is, and it's just the entirety of your being is your breath. And your breath will become the entirety of your being. But also, the entirety of all of being will become your breath, right? You can see why meditation has a bit of a problem of being spiritual sometimes, if you know what I mean. But so you'll have this feeling where there's no thoughts in your head, and everything is just this one breathing motion that we're going in, right? And you'll have that feeling and you'll say, yes, I did it. I have reached meditation. And then you'll say, oh no, I had a thought. Because you thought about them. Honestly, this happens every time, right? You get there and you're like, I've done it, I'm there. Oh no, I've ruined it. And now you can begin your journey. All right, so I hope that covers the basics. That's basically the basics of all that meditation stuff there. I will be doing a more advanced video at some point with more advanced and complicated techniques for dealing with more complicated things. But this video here is just the process of helping us to relax our minds from the constant wibbledy stuff that goes on every day. All right? So let me know what you think. Let me know how you get on. Let me know if you have any questions and stuff. And yes, and that's it. And good luck with your adventures. And yeah, okay. Bye.